Hey everyone, let's jump straight into this explainer for your CPCCWF2001 coursework. Today, we're tracking the physical journey of your tiling materials, literally from the second they roll off the back of the delivery truck right down to their final resting place on a finished bathroom floor. It's a journey that takes precision, a lot of care, and honestly, some really smart planning. So, let's get right into it. Now, as a future professional representing Genesis International College, the moment you step foot on any job site, mastering material handling, that is your absolute first major responsibility. You're not just lugging boxes around, you are managing highly valuable assets. And those assets dictate the quality, the safety, and the entire timeline of the project. Seriously, how you handle these very first steps sets the entire tone for everything that follows.
To keep things practical, we're structuring this explainer as a chronological site journey, covering quality checks, safe work method statements, sorting and stacking materials, and finally, your storage and distribution rules.
Let's kick off with Section 1, Quality and Quantity Checks, which is really your first line of defense the minute that delivery truck arrives.
Take a look at this quote because it's a massive industry reality check. It says, in general terms, suppliers will not recognize claims once tiles have been installed. So what does that actually mean for you on the ground? Well, the second you or your tile fixer starts laying that product, you have officially accepted its quality on the client's behalf. If you install a defective tile, the supplier is usually totally off the hook. Got a chip, a crack, the wrong color batch? That is now your expensive problem to solve. You, my friends, are the ultimate gatekeeper.
So as you're physically offloading materials, say from a lorry crane, you have got to be hyper vigilant. I know the driver might be in a rush, but you can't be. You need to immediately check for matching shade and caliber. That's the specific size and color batch, right? You're also confirming quantities to make sure you have enough to cover wastage. And you're verifying there are absolutely zero cracks or chips before those boxes even make it to your storage area.
Moving right along to Section 2, Safe Work Method Statements, focusing on protecting your physical health.
Before you or your team even think about handling these heavy yet super fragile materials, work health and safety regulations step in. They strictly require an SWMS, a safe work method statement for any high-risk construction work. This is definitely not just some bureaucratic box-ticking exercise. It's a legally required blueprint created in consultation with workers, and it's designed specifically to make sure you and your workmates go home safe at the end of the day. Creating your SWMS actually boils down to 3 really practical steps. Number 1, you identify the high-risk work itself, like operating heavy lifting machinery. Number 2, you specify the exact dangers and health risks associated with that specific task. And number 3, you define and implement strict control measures to systematically eliminate those hazards. It's essentially a living document that protects literally everyone on site. Now for Section 3. Sorting and stacking materials, which is all about organizing for success. With our safety protocols locked in, let's talk organization. You'll see we've categorized some common tile shapes here using our vibrant Genesis brand colors, the oranges, yellows, purples, and blues. Out on a real site, you'll be staring down a mountain of different shapes. You've got penny tiles, mosaics, your standard squares, subly tiles, planks, hexagons, octagons, and even triangles. Sorting all of these by type, size, and quality isn't just about keeping a tidy workspace. It guarantees easy identification and a perfectly smooth workflow when the actual laying starts. Now, when you start stacking those freshly sorted tiles, there is a hard and fast rule you can absolutely never break. Burn this into your memory for your assessments and honestly for the rest of your career. Your tile stack must never, ever exceed 1 meter in height. If you go any higher than that 1 meter mark, you risk a collapse. And a collapse means you could severely injure a mate and destroy thousands of dollars worth of stock in seconds. Just don't do it. And that brings us to the actual physical handling. The rules here are incredibly simple, but man, they are the very first things forgotten when you're rushing to clock out on a Friday. Always take tiles from the top layer only. That prevents the whole stack from tipping. Always handle them in pairs. And please absolutely never throw tiles. Treating these materials like the fragile assets they actually are avoids breakages that hold up the entire job. Finally, we have Section 4, Storage and Distribution Roles, all about protecting your assets on site. Let's look at how you actually store these materials long-term, which is a massive part of site logistics. If you decide to store tiles flat, they absolutely must be raised off the earth, usually on pallets or treated surfaces, so they don't draw in ground humidity. But here's a pro tip.
If you have a massive volume of tile, stacking them horizontally flat can literally crush the boxes at the bottom. In that scenario, the professional choice is vertical storage. You lean the cases upright, touching a wall, because on their edges, tiles can endure way more pressure without getting crushed.
But hey, it's not just about the tiles themselves. Don't forget that your bedding, your adhesives, and your grotting materials need just as much, if not more, protection from the elements. You got to keep them sealed in their original packaging, protect them from excessive heat and water, and critically, keep them elevated off concrete and earth surfaces. If you don't, moisture contamination will completely ruin their chemical composition. And nobody wants to work with ruined adhesive.
To wrap things up, when you're distributing materials for complex wet areas like bathrooms, you want to plan for a very specific professional sequence. Generally, you're going to tile the walls before the finished floor surfaces, but here is the true professional trick. You reserve the bottom row of wall tiles using a ledger or a spacer. Why? Because this allows those wall tiles to eventually overlap the floor tiles. It's not just for aesthetics. It creates a highly professional, downward-flowing, water-resistant seal. It's a total game changer for waterproofing.
So, as you pack up your gear and step onto your very next site, I want you to ask yourself a question. Are you truly prepared to be the ultimate gatekeeper of quality and safety? Remember, brilliant tiling isn't just about slapping product on a wall. It's about everything that happens before the trowel even hits the adhesive. How will your careful handling today guarantee the total success of tomorrow's project? Keep learning, keep evolving, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.